One regiment in the British Army has a job like no other.
There is a red life, state ceremonial public duties, and there is a green life, being prepared to fight the Queen's enemies on a battlefield.
Duty bound to protect the Queen and royal family.
The defence of the realm, that's essentially our #1 job.
Stand by for rapid!
Elite infantry soldiers and masters of ceremonial precision.
Stop pulling your feet in on that third pace. Get back, do it again. It's Britain PLC. It's got to be world class all the time.
The Coldstream Guards are internationally revered.
When you go to Heathrow Airport, you can't buy a 6-foot teddy bear of a paratrooper. You can buy a 6-foot teddy bear of a guardsman.
And responsible for delivering the biggest royal occasions.
The Duke and Duchess of Sussex, their wedding at Windsor Castle. Now, that was watched by 1.9 billion people globally.
In this series, we'll follow new recruits desperate to join the Coldstream Guards.
Right, McHugh, am I boring you, am I? Why are you looking at the floor?
Navigating the Army's most unforgiving training.
Get down. So when contact, quick, march!
With exclusive access to national events.
That is the cue then for Her Majesty. 48 seconds later, the red arrows will fly past.
From the Queen's birthday parade to a once-in-a-generation state funeral.
We hold a very significant responsibility in the eyes of the nation to get the message exactly correct.
We reveal the reality of life on the Blue Line.
First guard, Tower of London. It's amazing.
Our motto is second to none. Second to none.
During an unprecedented 18 months, Her Majesty's Coldstream Guards have led from the front, supporting a nation.
You're going to swab the tonsil area of the back of your throat. Okay. 5 to 10 seconds either side.
And its Queen.
This year is really poignant for Her Majesty the Queen. Only a few weeks ago, we were involved in the funeral procession for the Duke of Edinburgh, and here we are now back at Windsor Castle celebrating Her Majesty's birthday.
Tasked with leading the next major event in the royal calendar at Windsor Castle is Sandhurst graduate and commissioned officer David Marsham.
Morning, thank you.
The decision was taken to move from Horse Guards into Windsor, and that decision meant that we had to come up with a brand new parade that was going to be compatible with the COVID circumstances we found ourselves in.
With only weeks of practice, this year's Queen's Birthday Parade is the most challenging in living memory.
I've looked to put in a huge amount of effort over the last 6 weeks. Thanks, Major Morning. And today's the day. It culminates.
This is Marsham's first Queen's Birthday Parade, and he's in charge of all 350 foot guards.
So I'm commanding the parade today. Means I'm the one giving the majority of the words of command. If anything needs to be done collectively, I'm the one to initiate it.
All military personnel are preparing 800 metres away from the castle at the Coldstream Guards' main barracks, and for many of them, it's their first time too.
First big parade in the army. There are nerves, clearly, yeah. Her Majesty's watching, so it's very different from the rehearsals.
Today is the one we have to be exceptional. No room for error, no room for slight mistakes. I don't think it can get bigger than this.
How you feeling? Nervous, but we're just hopefully going to give the Queen a good parade today.
That's the one every guardsman looking forward to. Queen's birthday parade. Some do it once, some do it many times.
Just make sure that your buttons are facing the right way for me, please.
One Coldstreamer who has taken part in 6 Queen's Birthday parades and understands the challenge ahead is Garrison Sergeant Major Stokes.
They're huge events, and there's an awful lot of pressure, especially in my first one. I remember my first one, and there's an awful lot of preparation that goes into it.
Before travelling to the castle, the officers give the guardsmen a last inspection.
Just drop your arm slightly. Okay, that's better. So otherwise it looks like you're out like that, so just want to bear in mind on parade, yeah? Yes, sir.
Finally, the last remaining foot guards leave for the castle. along with officer Hugh Scroop.
Good to go, I think. We'll just hop on the transport now, down to the forming up point, and then we'll be released at 10:20 to commence the march up towards Windsor Castle.
With everyone now in place, the pressure is on, as Colonel David Marsham leads the foot guards towards the castle to commence the 1-hour-long parade under the spotlight of the world's media.
To be able to lead the troops up to the quadrangle was a really special feeling. The sense of anticipation is immense. It's proper big match nerves.
It's a national day and the responsibility of it is on his shoulders.
But as Marsham brings the guards into the quadrangle, he's noticed not everyone on the team is up to speed.
As we walked through the arch, they were about 10 steps ahead of where we did a rehearsal, and I was thinking, this is long. The band is on the grass before they started. The crags have tumbled down.
He'll just be thinking about delivering to the best of his ability. But I feel some pressure.
Good change.
Back at battalion, just metres away from the castle, Guardsman Ashton is also feeling the pressure as he pushes for promotion.
Gunfire's right, gun stops, faster.
Back in.
The Coldstream Guards is such a proud regiment, and obviously we are good at what we do, whether it's ceremonial duties or on the line. If you take pride in yourself, it makes you want to progress. I'm not here to just stay as a guardsman and just cruise my career. I want to progress my career.
Ashton wants to become a non-commissioned officer, known as an NCO, and progress from guardsman to Lance Corporal, the first of the NCO ranks.
I became the regimental sergeant major. A guardsman can do that. That's a pinnacle of a guardsman's achievements.
Like Vern Stokes, Ashton didn't graduate at Sandhurst as fully commissioned officers do, but he could still one day reach the same position as Stokes, who's climbed to the top of the non-commissioned officer ranks.
The course is like becoming a leader. You've got to show leadership, because if you haven't got leadership, people below you, such as guardsmen, they're not going to respect you.
Ashton has already been a Coldstream Guard for 4 years, but it will take him another 15 if he is to progress to the rank of Garrison Sergeant Major.
Guardsmen stepping up to that rank and going into the unknown, it's just, you know, of course you're going to be nervous.
The 5-week leadership course takes place in Purbright Barracks.
You are making a great leap forward. It's going to be a challenge.
Only 50% of soldiers will make the grade.
The decisions you make, what you are going to tell your fire team to do, will have an impact on their lives. Do not underestimate the challenge that has. That is why this course prepares you for those next steps.
You know what you're going to do with your career. You've just got to fight for your career. It's not going to get given to you, you've got to earn it.
The first test is to pass a physical challenge to determine who will meet the standard of a Lance Corporal and who will fall short.
Okay, your first individual fitness assessment. Okay, the 2-miler. All right, to be a leader, you need to lead from the front. All right, and this is your opportunity now to demonstrate that you can do that.
To gain points towards their final grade, each guardsman must complete a 2-mile hike carrying a 16-kilogram weight in just 18 minutes.
It's a mile uphill and then it's a mile downhill, so you've got a graph to get up. If you can get up in 9 minutes, you know you're getting 9 minutes below on the way down.
Everyone time, face your right. Forward.
Forward.
First group this morning, fastest time 15:31. Right, so there's your target. Okay, stand by. The fitness is testing. I've done this course, so I know how difficult it is. It's a short distance, but it's the weight that they're carrying, it's the terrain they're covering, and it's the pace that they need to move at. This is a pass or fail. This will go on their report book.
At the halfway mark, Ashton is in the middle of the pack.
Pretty tight. Feeling good though. Did you make your 9 minutes? Say again? Did you make your 9 minutes? I'd like to think so. I haven't stopped, so it'll be all right.
Everyone knows that the fitness is hard. You've just got to essentially suck it up and just get on with it.
1837.
Most guardsmen's mindset is to step up from the guardsman to an NCO, and that is what I want.
1842.
Simple instruction, carry it out.
Ashton, what do we get?
1840, sir.
1840. 40 seconds off the pace. It will be classed as a fail, it'll go in their report book as a fail.
With Ashton failing the physical challenge, he will have to make up ground on the next test if he's to have any hope of becoming an NCO. Back in Windsor, at the Queen's Birthday Parade, David Marsham is having timing issues of his own.
Having done so many rehearsals, I know the distances and the gaps. But the band is on the grass before they started. Crags a tumble down. Luckily, they nailed it.
Just in time for the arrival of Her Majesty, escorted by her first cousin, the Duke of Kent. With all 350 guardsmen in perfect position, they await the Queen to take her place on the dais, so Marsham can give the royal salute.
It's the biggest stage I've ever had to perform on.
It's just a huge event. The viewing figures on television are about 6 million live.
God! Royal salute! Read
And yeah, that was an extraordinary moment. You're floating. There's no other way to describe it. It lasts for a split second and then you're back into performing. Luckily, we got it absolutely bob on.
In the grounds of Windsor Castle, Colonel Marsham is undergoing the biggest ceremonial test of his military career, commanding the Queen's Birthday Parade.
You've got to really be thinking one step ahead of the game, because if you miss something, the whole parade could go wrong.
The next test for Marsham is the most complicated manoeuvre of the entire parade. A 100-piece band spinning on a moving axis that only last week was causing major concerns.
So straight away there's a timing issue there. Slower than the rest. Yeah. And the arms as well, cutting away. It's noticeable. Yeah.
That had gone wrong a number of times and we'd trained and trained and trained. So that's the bit I think I was most apprehensive about.
Thankfully, on the big day, the band execute the intricate movement with perfection.
An amazing job of getting that around, looking symmetrical. So it's a huge pat on the back and a well done for everybody that was involved in it.
Aspiring non-commissioned officer Ashton needs to make up lost ground. He failed the physical exercise. To have any chance of being promoted, he'll need to do well in the field test.
We've been out on the ground now for about 4 days. The light that you see is the enemy position.
Ashton and the 20 other guardsmen on the leadership course didn't go to Sandhurst, so were limited to non-commissioned roles, but can still reach the rank of Garrison Sergeant Major, like Vern Stokes.
Have you got eyes on?
A guardsman can start at the bottom, like I did at 16 years of age as a junior leader, and then work your way through the ranks.
Right, stand by for round. So this is the operations part now. We're looking at everything that we've taught them.
Start switching on, gentlemen. Stop being idle.
Final confirmation for us that we're happy. Get across, spread it. Go, 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 go.
Ashton and his men have cornered the enemy on the north side of the Brecon beacons.
Get the fire support in place!
It's hard work, but when you're sat in this position now, it's so rewarding. There's always a lot of pressure because if you do something severely bad, you can still get a stand-up fail.
Right, Ashton.
Yeah.
Reference Grey Mound.
Yeah.
1 times enemy.
Right.
Happy?
Yeah. Reference that fire there, yeah?
Yeah. Over it.
Yeah.
Over it on the horizon.
Roger.
Ashton has been tasked with providing support fire for an attack.
Stop by for rapid!
Yeah, Bird, reference that mound. Is it reference that mound there?
Reference the Grey Mound, yeah?
Yeah.
Have you seen the enemy position, Ashton?
But he's struggling to identify the enemy position.
Yeah.
There's a dip.
Yeah, seen.
Right, he's in there.
Happy.
Rapid fire!
Rapid fire! It's fucking weapon.
To make matters worse, his gun is jammed.
Alarm stoppage, what do we do?
Show stoppage!
No! We change the fucking gas pipes, don't we? Pull back!
Is Tomo up here yet? Stop! Go
What
on!
does that say? Off! Your fucking gas pipes are off!
Go on!
Ashton has assembled his gun incorrectly.
Stop!
Roger.
Calm down. Think about your drills. Those are the sort of things you're going to need to identify when you're in command.
Oh, fucking miracle, Ashton! It works!
Rapid! Rapid!
Got you.
Ashton with his gas pipes, you know, that's a silly error. It shouldn't have happened, but he'll learn from that.
Position clear. Man down! The standard is so high, they want you to maintain a certain level.
3, 2, 1.
You should be professional at all times. Everything's a learning curve, you just got to bounce back and crack on.
He'll have one more chance to score enough points to prove he's capable of becoming a non-commissioned officer. The final big test for Marsham is the march past the Queen that ordinarily would happen on the smooth surface of Horse Guards Parade.
The bit that had gone awry the most during training was the march past the dais, because there's a very short gap between approaching the gravel, turning right and going past. So that's the bit I think I was most apprehensive about.
Marsham now leads the march past, which here in the intimate setting of Windsor is only 3 meters away from Her Majesty herself. March past successfully navigated, Marsham now readies himself for the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity of addressing Her Majesty.
Your Majesty's Guards are ready to march off now.
Being able to walk up to Her Majesty and ask her permission to march off, yeah, very special. That will remain with me forever.
And finally, bringing the parade to a close, is the expertly timed 9 aircraft flypast by the Red Arrows.
As Her Majesty was coming off parade, she stopped to talk. She was delighted with the parade and she thanked everybody for their hard work. And she also commented on some of the intricacies of the movements that we did inside the quadrangle because they're new manoeuvres. So that's great to get that acknowledgement. Everybody feels something quite special when you get the opportunity to speak to the Queen. Yeah, of course you get nervous, of course you do. Everybody's, you know, I'm human just like everybody else.
It was awesome. It was one of the best things I've ever done. I think everyone was in step throughout. Everyone did exactly as we've been training to do, and we delivered an immaculate parade.
You don't get many gold stars in life, but that's one of them, for me, at least. I can tell that story to anybody and they would be like, oh, that's not true. They won't believe it, you know. Leave them speechless.
Colonel Marsham managed to pull off the ceremonial performance of his life.
Yeah, they're good. Really good.
Well, it felt bloody good.
I'd say it almost looks better than
in Windsor Castle it does with Horse Guards. The green, the castle, the ensign, and the framing were flying perfectly at the top of the round tower.
Amazing. Yeah, it was the shot. I have to say, I'm buzzing now. That was a good feeling.
Stay still.
Thanks, guys. Well done. Cracking effort. That looked really, really good. Is this Team PG, is it?
Yes, sir.
There we go. How are we doing, guys?
Good, sir.
All right. How'd you enjoy it?
Yes, sir.
It was Bob on, right? Absolutely nailed it. Apparently looked good on TV too. Well done, son, Major. Like that. Good work.
Yes, sir.
As experiences go, in my time in the army, that pretty much tops the bill. That was amazing. I mean, look, I'm incredibly proud of the way the guys performed today. My children will be bouncing up and down on the sofa and probably trying to work out how my daddy's on the telly. And I hope in time that they'll feel proud of that.
But the ultimate royal seal of approval is hand-delivered by the Major General.
I thought that was brilliant, but my opinion is pretty irrelevant, isn't it? Because that's the only opinion which should matter to you.
There we go.
The feedback was almost immediate.
The Queen thought it was great, so great job, well done.
Really good. Thanks, sir. The Major General received a letter from the Queen just after the parade, thanking everyone for the work they put in. He said thank you very much to all the regiments of the Household Division and King's Troop who took part for their preparation. Lots of hard work under trying circumstances. Yeah, it's amazing, right?
At this stage in her life, she can still get the highest standard of performance out of the Guards. It's been a tradition for generations and generations to come, but we have played our part to the fullest and to the best of our ability.
The only way I can describe it is that it's unique and a proper privilege and an honour. And standing there asking Her Majesty to march off parade, yeah, that will last forever.
So we're going to defend Objective 10.
After leading this year's biggest ceremonial event, Colonel David Marsham is finally back on the more familiar ground of fighting.
Is everyone clear on those objectives?
Leading 300 Coldstreamers in a major training exercise in Wales.
Ideally, we do all of this without having to fire a shot.
However many state ceremonial or public duties activities are asked of us, we can never take our eye off our core skills as infanteers. We joined the army to do the green stuff and to go on operations and fight the Queen's enemies, and that's what we're training for.
Sandhurst will advance!
Like all commissioned officers, Marsham had to pass out from Sandhurst Military Academy.
Turn!
Training at Sandhurst is what sets commissioned officers apart from NCOs.
Sandhurst is an iconic institution. My experiences of it remain the bedrock of what I am as an officer. The privilege of becoming an officer is the recognition that you are leading, but it's a service.
It's now Marsham's job to test the leadership skills of brand new commissioned officers like Oscar Grenville, who passed out of Sandhurst only 4 months ago.
We've all worked really hard to be here, and what changes now is I am responsible for 30 other blokes, and I will need to learn to put their needs before mine.
Okay, listen in for a set of orders for a deliberate attack.
Oscar may have passed out, but today is the first time he'll lead his platoon.
There is no other feeling like it when you're stood in front of 30 people for the first time and they're looking to you for direction.
Battle Group I-Star have identified enemy forces.
Being able to command troops at 23, it's an incredible experience.
He'll have to prove himself in the field as part of a 10-day exercise.
You get given command appointments when you're in training, but this was the first time that I'd done it for real to real soldiers. The biggest mistake you can make is thinking that you know everything and you don't need to listen to experience. First impressions really do count. That go a long way in them sort of trusting you as someone who's competent enough to lead the platoon. I don't want to be faffing around in this drop-off point.
You've got to create a sense of psychological safety in the platoon, but when the crunch time comes and the decision is made and you've got to go left and you've got to do it aggressively, they need to follow.
Grenville's first ever attack with his new platoon is to capture and destroy a heavily fortified enemy HQ.
You basically get issued a set of orders from your higher command and you essentially figure out how you're going to achieve it, and you then have a time frame to come up with a plan. You will have your soldiers scrutinising you and how they view you at stake.
But first of all, he has to talk his platoon through his battle plan.
First light tomorrow morning is 0413. You're slightly nervous on your first time. You want to be articulate and deliver a sort of coherent set of instructions. The building sits in the northeast, which is why we're going to approach from the northeast, from the southeast rather. So hopefully give us a more covered approach.
Confidence, I think, is something that you can inherit, but I think it's also something that can be learnt. Training engenders that confidence. It allows the people that you're ordering to do something that they would not ordinarily do, to do it willingly.
Okay, so we've got to be hard, fast and aggressive, stop them withdrawing and destroy them. We have to be aware that obvious entrances and exits may be booby traps. But when H hour goes, okay, in the fire support, fucking unleash, the enemy will be taken by surprise, okay, and will have gained a foothold in that objective before they know what's hit them. Let's go into this with confidence now, okay, and let's go nail this.
It's the commanding officer's job to identify if Grenville has got the potential to progress up the career ladder and take on more leadership responsibility.
Officers have the ability to progress in their careers by being good, by being seen to be good. Those attributes are part of my responsibility to identify so that they can progress through their careers.
This is Oscar's first chance to show Marsham he has what it takes to climb the ranks and one day potentially reach the same privileged position as Marsham himself.
You feel like you're always being watched, and after a while that does sort of gets on top of you.
Owens and Bird, you'll be my exercising troops.
Back in Pirbright, on the non-commissioned officer course, Guardsman Ashton needs to excel if he's any chance of promoting.
I don't want to be just a regular guy, just doing a regular job. That's why I'm here. That is why, I want to progress my career and just keep going and grafting for what I want.
It's the final test of Ashton's leadership course and the last chance to prove himself after a mixed performance so far.
When you don't pass something, you start to doubt yourself. It makes me want to do better.
Remember, test day.
Yep.
Think of the points we talked about yesterday.
Yep.
And just have a good battle exercise, all right?
Becoming an NCO, it'd mean everything.
Lads, close in! OK then, that's your enemy position. For both of you, I want you to talk me through how you would fight through on that position there.
Throws a grenade in. He can either jump up.
During the crucial battle exercise, he will be graded on his ability to instruct, lead, and prepare his troops for the front line.
You've just left your fire team and you want to go up and catch to him and get eyes on this enemy position.
They're all under pressure now. We'll see how much effort they put in last night rehearsing, and hopefully we'll see some good lessons. If not, they'll lose points, unfortunately.
Right, let's go.
He's in charge of 4 men who must locate and take down an enemy position.
Getting this deck round here, boys. When you're stepping up to be able to be the person to teach what you should be doing in a bit more of detail. You haven't got your ear deafs in, get them in now. It is leadership at its highest of standards. Reference that T right in front of you there, the orange mine tape. That is your axis. Both happy? Step off when you're ready then. You'll meet with your point of fire.
So I know it's only an exercise, but if you think of it in reality, you're in charge of a whole section. That's a big responsibility.
You need to be confident, you need to be good at your job, you need to know your job.
Having located the enemy, the troops prepare to clear the position. The attack has gone to plan.
Stop!
Yeah, good, really good actually. Yeah, we'll just listen to his hot debrief now and see how he thinks they performed.
Ashton now has to feed back to his men.
Retest isn't needed. There's one thing I didn't mention because I didn't want it to be in the back of your heads. I have a scoring card here, and I was testing your aggression and your on the fight through, and also your individual skills and drills. And I thought it was fucking spot on, to be honest. I'm happy that you can both successfully take over a position. Well, you HC both of those, so I'm happy with that. Have you boys got any points for me?
No, it was good. It was slick. Yeah. Okay, finished? Yeah. Yeah, gents, if you just stay there, take your helmets off. Good summary. You give them the objectives. You told them they passed. All right? Are you happy?
Yeah, I'm happy.
All right, it was a good lesson. Well done.
I'm happy with that. Yeah, that was good. I'm well happy.
Finally, after 5 weeks of relentless training and testing, he'll find out if he's made enough points to join the non-commissioned officers' ranks.
All good? Nervous?
A bit, yeah.
Yeah, you happy it's over?
Yeah.
It's been tough, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So we'll talk about your physical fitness now. So the 2 mile assessment, you failed, however, you scored 11 points.
Yep.
As you know, the points on the PT is massively important.
Yep.
Your battle lesson was 14, and
Yep.
that was with me down on the area.
Yep.
Okay, no problems there. Right then, last box is personal skills now. So the most important boxes, I believe, on this course. So we're going to talk about your leadership. Leadership, 14, okay, so well above average. Your command and control, 14, again, well above average. Your administration, 14. Your attitude and effort, 14, and your coursemanship, 14. All right, so you've maintained above average throughout the course, which is what we want to see.
Yep.
Where you were at the beginning of the course to where you are now, huge improvement. All right, you've clearly proved to us as the DS that you can be a leader when you get back to your battalion. You've just got to leave this place and train.
Yep.
Keep training. Congratulations, you passed.
Yeah.
You're not going to be coming. You're not going to be going back down before Christmas. All right, so congratulations. Brilliant. Right, I think you can.
Ashton has passed the course. He's now a non-commissioned officer and holds the rank of Lance Corporal.
Over the whole course, it seems that I've done all right in most aspects. Obviously, there's some, as the obvious, where I haven't done as well. But there are things that they can always be sorted and rectified as soon as I get back to my battalion. But however, I'm just happy. Just becoming a commander at first, obviously, my battalion will open a lot of doors for me. Can't wait to go home. Obviously, surprise the girlfriend and stuff, so no doubt I'll be getting pissed up tonight.
In London, rehearsals are almost over for the reintroduction of a major historic event and a rite of passage for all Coldstream Guards.
What you'll see is that age-old tradition of the Queen's Guard change.
Garrison Sergeant Major Stokes is overseeing the first ceremonial guard change in 18 months.
We've done it at Buckingham Palace Forecourt since 1837. Before then, we started it at 1660 at the Reformation of King Charles II.
It's also the most important ceremonial role Officer Hugh Scroop has ever undertaken. He's been given the responsibility of leading his platoon at the first full palace guard mount with the eyes of the world watching.
This has been delayed because of COVID and the release of the lockdown measures. So, yes, there is pressure.
We've got to do it properly, and we've got to do it right, correct, to the standards that the public would expect and that the Coldstream Guards would expect.
It's just a huge privilege to be involved in the first one in 18 months. I think it'll hit me when I see the crowds. I think nerves are a good thing, but you know, nervous excitement describes it best, I think.
How much smoke have we got? I got one, you got one.
In Brecon, Commissioned Officer Oscar Grenville is commanding his platoon for the very first time.
Hard, fast and aggressive into the building.
As a platoon commander, the whole point is that you can take a step back and keep control of the overall battle and what your platoon's doing and keep situational awareness.
2-1 Charlie, give fucking rapid.
He's being assessed by Colonel Marsham, who only weeks ago led the Queen's birthday parade.
What he can't do is get involved at the front, right up front. He cannot be a section commander. He can't be a young guardsman.
Come on, let's get going!
Grenville may have passed out from Sandhurst, but leading his first platoon into attack is another thing entirely.
You do 14, 15 months training to qualify as a platoon commander,
Everyone, Charlie,
but
get
nothing
fucking rapid.
really prepares you for actually commanding soldiers in real life.
Let's go, let's go! Let's go! Go, 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 go!
Grenville and his guardsmen have to attack and capture an enemy building.
Reserve! Reserve! Listen! Listen! Reserve!
You need a level of confidence to want to command a platoon of 30 blokes. Part of you has to just back yourself and get on with it.
2-1 Alpha, if you're happy, I'm happy. Launch, over. Lads, rapid fire! On the left, rapid fire! Go! No, on the left, up by that wall. Clear! Clear! Right, proven route, up that hill, over the fence and down! Let's go! Go! Bro, go!
Oscar and his platoon have forced the enemy into retreat, and the building has been successfully secured.
Yeah, it's gone pretty well actually. We just cleared an enemy stronghold. This is my first exercise. It's been incredibly rewarding actually, and I've loved it.
Back at base,
Sir, I'll hand it over to you now.
Oscar has to debrief his new platoon.
Okay, so our route in was pretty good.
But Grenville's mentor, Colour Sergeant Price, is perhaps better placed to assess his first attack.
All the mechanics which he's done were fine. A few work-up points which they're going to be, like more command and control with the troops.
On my part, I probably should have tried to get better situational awareness here.
Especially when we take that into real-time operations, he needs to be able to control those on the battlefield. It's a massive responsibility.
As we approached the woodblock, potentially we should have shaken out into, and this is me much as anything, a point for myself, but into formation.
As a commissioned officer, Oscar has the potential to progress to the rank of a 4-star general and command the entire British Army.
Because had there been enemy in the front of the woodblock, okay, we would have been in quite an exposed position.
But right now, he needs to focus on overseeing attacks rather than leading them from the front.
I was guilty of getting slightly too carried away, actually. I was kind of getting a little bit too far forward, because clearly it's not ideal if the platoon commander gets killed.
There's a lot to be said for making mistakes. If one member of the team doesn't do the job that they've been trained to do and do it well, there's a potential that the plan will fail.
In London, failure is also not an option. At Buckingham Palace, one of the most symbolic state occasions is being reinstated for the first time in nearly 2 years.
This is the first Queen's Guard for the Foot Guards since the pandemic began.
It's a historic event all Coldstream Guards are proud to be a part of, from guardsmen to fully commissioned officers.
It's extremely exciting to be involved.
3 Company have been handed the responsibility to mount guard, and Officer Hugh Scroop is leading the ceremony for the first time.
This is my first Queen's Guard, and to be doing that is a huge privilege.
Hugh only joined the Coldstream Guards 14 months ago.
I am the most junior officer in the regiment at the moment. It's very special to finally be here.
How are you doing?
Good, G.
All good? Yeah, very well.
Today, he's in charge of 30 elite guardsmen, considered worthy of the post of the Queen's Guard.
There is a fair amount that can go wrong. A lot is going through your head, particularly on the first one, because you are stepping on new ground that you've never been on before. You want to give the best account of the regiment as you possibly can, so it's within your interests to not look like an idiot.
Okay, lads. Just walking.
But it's not just Officer Hugh Scroop who's feeling the pressure. It's also a Virgin Guard mount for one of his guardsmen.
Here, sir!
Cheeseborough passed out 15 months ago.
You should take huge pride in that. I'm so pleased with it. That's a biggie. That's a real biggie.
Thank you, sir. I've got soldier. I think I've done well. Proved to my dad that I can do it.
And today's Queen's Guard is his first major ceremonial duty.
Personally, for me, it's a massive privilege to be involved in changing the Guard and any ceremonial stuff to do with the Coldstream Guards. It's what we've done for all this time, for many years. To be involved in them traditions, I think, is brilliant. Even though we seem to be doing everything together, there's a lot of individual working parts within it. If one person messes up somebody else, and then you get into a bit of a problem then. People switch off, people zone out, people don't focus, and then that's when mistakes get made. If I was to make a mistake on Buckingham Palace forecourt, all these thousands of people are watching, whether it's on TV or whether they're watching friends that I put on Facebook, they always look at the mistakes first. That's definitely the biggest fear.
The officers do stand at the front, so you are leading the charge, as it were, and are expected to know exactly where to go.
Officer Hugh Scroop leads his platoon of guardsmen from Wellington Barracks towards Buckingham Palace. They will relieve the Grenadier Guards and take over as Her Majesty's protectors.
When I stepped off, there was a huge degree of focus. Once you settle into it, though, you can appreciate and take in just how special it is to be involved, that there's a huge crowd watching you. That makes you refocus because you don't want to get it wrong and embarrass yourself.
You're almost so concentrated on not messing up that you struggle to actually enjoy the moment itself.
It's extremely special, and there's a great sense of pride in all of us when we mount and change the guard on the forecourt.
Being a Queen's Guard is a position Hugh has coveted for longer than most.
There's a photo of me when I was about 6 or 7 years old, standing outside my home in full bearskin and tunic. Obviously not the real thing, but it was meant to be, I guess.
As the ensign, Hugh's role today is also steeped in history.
For this parade, I'm carrying the mounting regimental colour. It is physically a flag. We're not allowed to call it a flag. It is a colour. Being the person carrying it, you are carrying the embodiment and the history of the regiment. The main bit of my job is to ultimately represent that our regiment is changing the guard. We are mounting guard, and I carry the embodiment of the regiment. We march onto the forecourt, and then the officers begin pacing the minutes. Traditionally, pacing the minutes was an opportunity for the officers to, in the battlefield, walk the line, as it were, so that all the soldiers could see that they were cool, calm, and collected about what was about to come. The tradition continues on the forecourt in ceremonial duties. It's a modern-day embodiment of what we would do traditionally on the battlefield. I think there's an element of style and panache required. Once we've paced the minutes, the band have played their music and the sentries have been posted. The old guard then return to Wellington Barracks. Half of the mounting guard will go to St James's Palace, where they stand guard, and half will remain at Buckingham Palace, where they guard. Heads on the next move. I'm thinking, what am I doing next? Where am I going to be standing? And how can I get there looking as smart as I possibly can?
A lot of civvies who are watching us don't even know one regiment from another, so they just see a bunch of people with fairy hats and red jackets on marching around, and they think it's brilliant.
As far as I was concerned, everyone was in the right place at the right time, looking immaculate, very well turned out, doing exactly what we've been taught to do. All credit to everyone involved. It, I think, went pretty well.
I think overall it's just a really good thing to watch. People do seem to love it. Best thing I've done so far, apart from getting married. It's been a long time coming. I've been looking forward to doing it for ages. It's when you're in training, it's something that's highlighted as a good thing to do.
I did really enjoy it. It was a very special moment, even more so that I was the ensign carrying the regimental colour. It's a great public display, so to see that resuming is a hell of a statement and shows that we are back.